Sharon! Rosa Sharons. They really do. I picked so many of them out with my hands. I have 2 other bundles like this, and there's more in the other bundles. Rosa Sharon. They're really invasive. They can be a pain in the butt, but if you put them in a straight row, they will grow in a straight row, and you can make a fence with them. And they grow pretty fast too. And then they get so, I mean, like, you can really make a fence between people's yards with the Rosa Sharons. You just gotta pick them out. So I was gifted with, oh, you can come get all these Rosa Sharons and clean them out. So I took the Rosa Sharons because I like making fence with them. And it looks beautiful because at some point in the year, they're not thorny like roses, but they get flowers on them. And when they get big and the flowers are on them and they're in bloom, it looks really pretty. And it's a fence, like you can't get through it. Or you like cut some of them out to like make a throughway. So it really works. It's one of those things, you can make a living fence out of Rosa Sharons. They grow quick. I don't know if they smell good. Are they fragrant? I don't know. Something in the air smells good now. It's blossoms on something. Lilacs. Oh, I know I'm a man. I'm talking about flowers. Yeah, lilacs. They smell good, like for real. Like, I mean, like if you take them in the house, it's gonna smell like fabric softener in your house, but it's not that fake fabric softener smell that you know. It's where that comes from, which is lilacs. And they smell really good. You don't have to stick them in your nose, but I was too late. There's a bunch of lilac bushes, and I'm like, they're all dead. Why didn't I take them in the house? I could have clipped them off. So now I gotta go back and clip lilacs. Try and find some good ones yet. So I can bring them into the house because they smell good. And then I gotta take a pickaxe and just make deep enough for these Rosa Sharon roots to go down. You pull them up. I pulled so many up. My hands are tired. I'm getting strong. I'm pulling up rows of Sharons, and they're great. They don't have thorns on them. And you plant them in the ground, you make a fence. I don't know what else there's to say about them. And lilacs are good. So are hyacinths, flowers that smell good. Why? Do you want to smell flowers that smell good? That's what woman smells like. They smell good, right? They cover up that stink with some toxic vat of chemical goo made by Jay-Z's sister. It's great. It's the latest scent. It smells like an ice cream candle in the bar in the ocean or something. And a little minty spice. I don't know, perfume, everything. They have smells of everything. Does it even matter what the smells are? We just blow stuff in your scent receptors of your nose and it smells like whatever you want it to smell like. Oh, everything smells like cheese curls. Oh, what a world. Hey, some people would want that. Like, what if everything smelled like Whopper Jr.? I don't know. I don't have a new scent this year. That's why everybody's always working on the latest scent, perfumes and stuff. I just don't have one this year. I don't know. I was gonna go with some kind of lemon scented. That's not gonna work. Nobody wants to smell like lemons. What, did you have oranges for breakfast? You smell like oranges. No, it's lemon, Jay-Z's lemon scented cologne. It's got a little lemon in it. Yeah. It's, whatever. Spicy. No, it's not working. I'm sorry. Just go with lemon scented Pledge. Smell like lemons. And BO. You know, if you put a slice of lemon under your armpit and then it closes up your sweat glands and you don't sweat, it makes your armpit pucker up. Do I have any other gardening advice? I have seen some really cool stuff done with where like you grow things close together and then you like mesh them together into lattice work and then the stuff grows into each other, and I don't know if that's healthy or strong for the tree, but it sure looks cool. That's the future, man. We can make like Lord of the Rings 2 towers. That's the elf tower. Look at that. It's all made out of trees that they grew together. I think they could do that stuff. It's crazy. I know. It says in the Bible not to do grafting. I don't know what you think about that. One year, I worked at a place and they wanted me to cut all branches off these willow trees. So I did. And I stuck them in water and I forgot about them. And then it was the end of the season, fall's coming, and I'm like, oh wow, I have this whole huge vat full of willow branches that rooted. So I had this big pile of roots and I was like, just throw it away. That was a lot of money I could have had. And then there was a time when I could have had walnut trees cut down that were old and dead anyway, and I could have sold the wood for something. See, I guess I do know something about gardening, or trees or whatever, I don't know. There's hardwood and softwood. And I'm looking for a nice big piece of softwood the size of a human that I can carve it. I'm going to carve something out of wood. But all that's around me is hardwood. It's no fun. Yeah, what I could have done, I had so many I had like vats of willow branches, and they all took sprout and they grew roots on the bottom, and that's what you want. I guess that makes another willow tree. I could have sold them, didn't do it. I was like, just throw them away. I don't care. I didn't plant them. I threw them down in the swamp. I don't think there's one willow tree that's growing. I don't know. Other gardening stories. I had a pretty nice potato patch. I've made decent soil over the years where you take mulch and just stuff nobody wants and you just let it pile up, and you have deep beds, and then that soil's black and you're like, God, this is so good, I don't know what to do with it. I don't have any food good enough to plant in it. The duck won't eat. Did you see that? Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I can sense it's going to be cold. I'm not much of a gardener, but I'm gardener enough that I paid attention to the weather, that I know what the weather is, and I'm like, it's going to get a little too cold tonight. I can feel it. It's like a feeling you get when you go outside in your ears. Not everybody has ears like these ears, all right? But I got, two of them, one of each, and one on each side. Well, I think they were just supposed to be. That's too late. I can't. They are where they are. Okay, so back on point. I can feel it in my ears, and then like a little bit on the outsides of my nose, and that's how I know that it's going to be a little too cold tonight. It's a little intuitive gardening for you there. I don't know how to teach that. It's just I don't want to mock discernment or wisdom, but I am getting older. Maybe I'm just more sensitive to weather. Old people are like, oh, the weather. Maybe that's happening to me as I transition into final form. Yep. Turtle hermit grandpa. Raspberries and wineberries, they spread nice too, and they can kind of make a nice living fence, but like it takes a lot for them to get really thick so you can't get through it. But I remember when I was a kid, stuff that doesn't exist anymore is very boring for you probably, but there was these thickets of berries, like it was just like it was like over an old horse fence. So I guess if you wanted to, it'd be pretty gross, but you could like crawl through underneath there. But it didn't matter because it was just covered, like the whole thing was overtaken by wineberries. You could just pick them and pick them. Wineberries are like raspberries, except they're more juicier and have more flavor, and they taste a little bit like wine, except that they would never ship in the stores, but you can eat them and they're great, and they make your fingers stained red and are delicious, and you can just eat them and eat them and eat them. I remember taking a girlfriend to eat the wineberries, and she liked them too, picking berries, because we're a pre-internet kid, so it was like something you did, you went picking berries. So we'd pick berries with her, and then her t-shirt would get so covered with juice, it was like a wet t-shirt contest. It was great. And then spring is sprung, and there's spring peepers, and we'd go down to the pond, and there'd be these little frogs, I'm not kidding, little frogs that they're like this tiny. Actually not frogs, they're toads. And these little tiny toads, and you could fit like 5 of them in your hand. They look like train ornaments, like for the model railroad, but they're alive. A complete, fully formed little toads. And it happened every year. So I remember taking my best gal to pick berries, and and to look at the frogs and go lift up rocks and stuff like that, and to beg to be filleted, beg for to just touch anything, ruin it all. But no, I mean, like I don't know, I guess I was trying to think of the more positive aspects of that, which would have been just like enjoying simple things. Like, do people go pick berries? I don't think so. How lucky was I? It didn't work. Yeah, we're not together. Yeah, but it was pretty great. It was pretty great. It was just dripping with berries. I know it's terrible. Not much of a story. It's true. Berries, not the wet t-shirt part, but the berries. So many berries. And then all kinds of stories that my mother had. Oh, we had this beautiful raspberry bush and your father killed it, and then your father did this and that, in the entire history of every dead thing from the yard. All died dead for the same reason. Revenge. Oh, he's mad today. Oh, he drove through the whole row of things that he bought last year for her, and he's womp, 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 womp. Oh, yes. Yes, it was like war. War over roses. Oh, you like these big bushes? Gone. Why? I don't know. It's grown-up stuff. It's Chinatown.
Will security please report to Section 3? Security to Section 3, please.
I am working. All clear. On with the music. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that. We've got extraneous noise. Hopefully it's ambient. Yeah, I don't know what these are. I'm just trying out like a new thing. This is like early future Scott. I don't know what else to call it. Before it gets all weird and, you know, shoulder pads and stuff. Hope somebody's got the archive because it doesn't exist anymore. It's been deleted. I don't even have it anymore. I'm like, let it go. I'm an Apache woodsman of creative types where I make whole entire catalogs of work, and then when it's gone, it's gone. If you were there, you were there. So I like to exaggerate stuff that really wasn't that good. I hear owls. Is it good luck to have a crane nesting in a tree above your house? Does that mean that the tree is dead? It's a big nest. It really is. I think it's a blue heron. It's really something. And I thought, wow, what would Ted Andrews think about this? That's an old people joke. Yeah. I know there's really cool stuff you can grow with sunflowers, where you take the sunflower seeds, if you can get them to stay alive, because a lot of things will eat sunflower sprouts. But once you get them started, you can plant them in the ground, you can plant them in a circle or in a square, and when they grow, it's a cool place where as the sunflowers get big, you know, if you have kids or whatever, they can run around and play in there until the sunflower seeds start to come in, and they shake the sunflowers and mouse poops fall on their heads, because that's a reality. If you're out there in the world growing sunflowers, mice will climb up, like field mice will climb up on top of the sunflower and they'll eat the seeds, and then they'll make little poops, and then when you shake to get the sunflower seeds, it's mouse shits in your hair. Oh, isn't that great? Yeah, well, have fun washing that out. Might as well just let them. I don't know what you do about that. It's gross though. People don't think about that with sunflowers. You just get them without the shells. They're so tiny. Who the hell wants to chew sunflower seeds? Who still does that? They get the sunflower seeds with the barbecue seasoning or whatever it is on the outside. We have so much better people chow. Why don't you just switch to corn nuts? Who is eating the sunflower seeds with the shells that have the flavoring on the barbecue seasoning on the outside of the shell? And that's just gross. The whole thing. Stop. Look, we have modern technology, okay? Peel the sunflower seeds so that they smell like this rancid oil, because they go bad so quickly. I know some things about food, I guess. Tomatoes. Yay, tomatoes. I remember something that's probably not allowed now. There's a guy that used to call him the Tomato Man. And he was just an old retired guy, and he always grew so much tomatoes, and he would give them away. They weren't even for sale. And people just go and get their tomatoes from that guy. Yeah, it's probably not allowed. I don't have any gardening stories that impressed women ever. There's different times where I had kind of a neat setup. I had a pond with koi in it, and it looked pretty cool. I never really impressed women with landscaping. I think one time I impressed women with my knowledge of landscaping at a weird eco-village thing, but it didn't really get me anywhere. Didn't get me anywhere. Yeah, I was... yeah. What's comedy now? Is it Bill Burr driving around in a car? Nobody on the streets? No thanks. I'll pass. Nothing against anybody specific, but I've just been making my own content, which has been my life. So what I have to say, gardening stories? Rodent scares? No. Oh, there's stuff called rabbit fencing, and it's just cheap injection molded plastic. It's the most minimal of nothing. I wish I had a piece to show you. And it's called rabbit fencing or like deer netting or whatever. And it's just plastic. It's just junk. But boy does it work. I didn't even set it up yet, but I had it to keep small rodents out of the garden because I know that it works. So before I even had it set up, I just threw the used, it's called rabbit fencing, rabbit netting or whatever, mice, chipmunks, you'll see. So I just threw it over the fence, and it was kind of in a mess. And when I went to lay the fence out, I could smell the stink. I'm like, what is this? And somehow a chipmunk had climbed into the netting and couldn't get out and died in there. And I had to get rid of it. So I had to cut it out of the fencing. And I did. It was so easy. It was like tangled in. There's no way I could get it out. So I just cut the little section of fencing out and threw it away. And I put it strategically on a place where I knew that other people would see coming by what had happened to it. And I'd say, see, it's cheap. It's like, I don't know, 15 bucks a roll or something at a Lowe's or Home Depot. I guess it's the only place you can go. I don't know. Is it a Walden Mart, maybe? Is it at the Walden Mart, maybe? Sounds like a fancy... The Walden... the Walmart Astoria, please. We'll have that. No. What were we talking about? It works. Rodent netting. It got a chipmunk caught in it and died. And I thought it was a freaky thing when I was a child. And I would go watch by the farm. They had electric fence to keep the bulls in and the horses in. And birds would land on the electric fence and die. And they'd hang upside down and their feet would be clamped on. I'm like, why does that keep happening? And one time my cousin pissed on the electric fence. And he was like, ow! Sent him back. It's funny. And yeah, dead birds. I'm like, no, don't touch them. They're like, yeah, but look at that one, looks like a parakeet. And it was just some kind of wild bird that had bright colors like the parakeet you get in the pet shop. And I'm like, no, it's dead, just don't touch it. They're all dead. They're upside down. And I'm like, but this one, I know, and they're dead. Electric fence. And then it used to become a game to crawl under the electric fence, and then every now and then you touch it. Ow! Yeah. I can't really remember anybody getting seriously hurt. I remember a chain reaction where somebody touched the fence, and then it went through 3 people. That was one of them. I was like, whoa! Crazy times. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. Yeah, maybe that's an episode. I don't know. These are what they are. So, what did I start out with? More gardening stuff. Oh yeah, I guess it's pretty easy to be down on yourself. I did a whole episode where I said I'm not much of a gardener either. But I am. I just don't think of it in terms of like, you don't need all the information you've ever learned. So it just makes it seem like I didn't accomplish anything. When in actuality, I did accomplish a lot, but it took years. And when you don't need it, it's just kind of like, you know, I'm not sitting around, I guess I really wasn't sitting around thinking, well, what did I do that's like of value that matters or whatever? I don't know, with gardening. I guess with life, I guess it's really about a metaphor of life or something. I don't know. And something about Nixon maybe, the president. I don't know. But you know. Oh, Jerusalem artichokes. I have a story I shouldn't tell. Somebody said, hey, can I have some of these chokes? And I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And then I was like, they'll grow back, there'll be more. And then they took them all, like they got them all, and none came back. I was like, that's the end of that. And I had these blueberry bushes that every year somebody else kept cutting down my blueberry bushes. It really pissed me off. And then one got so big that there was no way you could miss it. And I spray painted around them with cinder blocks around each blueberry bush with a fluorescent orange street paint. Like it's the kind of stuff that's supposed to be bright for like on the street, to mark off the street. And I sprayed it on the blocks, and there's no way you could miss. Those are blueberry bushes, and the mother, we still cut them. Still! I had a ginkgo tree. Somebody took a weed whacker to it. I'm like, I didn't tell you to do that. Get out of my fucking yard. No, you're not helping. That's a ginkgo tree. We're trying to cut it down with a weed whacker. Get out of here, you tit. See, I'm just like my mother. Still bitter about old plants that were taken from me. And I had my friends start chopping. I'll get it if I start chopping my apple tree with an axe. I'm like, what are you doing? Just start hacking away at it. I couldn't believe it. Maniacs. And not one person ever made a cool chainsaw sculpture out of one of my fruit trees they killed on me. Or nut. You know how long it takes to have nut trees before they can get nuts that you can eat? You have peanuts, whatever. So, yeah. I don't know, I think there's something good that people get from learning how to grow food. And forget about whatever they tell you on TV. I think it's cool anyway. There's something that feels good about, like, I don't know, I want to say like the getting to the growing the food part, but a lot of it's just fun of the doing of like digging dirt, and there's a hole and you plant a thing there. No, it's not about, I'm not trying to be coy with you about sex illusions or anything. No, I meant to actual just toil over the soil, and not in a labor camp way, in like it's yours, it's your land, it's your like yard in the apartment lot or whatever it is, your shared community garden. There's something that's satisfying about doing. We're supposed to have contact with plants and trees and like putting stuff there. Like we're supposed to do that. It's like supposed to be. I don't know. It's like it's wired into us or something. That we would like that. I even remember hearing there's like prison release programs where I'm like, yeah, they're just glad to be out of prison. You can take them to do anything. But they had these gardening programs, and I guess that the gardening programs had results that are the kind of thing that I want to mention in the podcast right now, but I don't want to lie because I don't remember what, like, you know what I mean? Like they get, here's what I mean. They'll tell you, we did this study and we found out that rehabilitated prisoners love gardening, and they didn't go back to jail because of it. And you're like, well, hold on a minute, is that true? I don't know. It's just reports, other people's reports. What do you think I am, a report reader guy? No, thank you. Anyway, yeah, I think it's probably beneficial for people to, you know, have a piece of the planet. Man. It sounded so weird when she came up. Dog. Yeah, I don't know. I really think I've really chewed enough cut out of this episode. So I think I should wrap it up. Should wrap it up, Poochie? Yeah? Yeah, I don't know. I think this is good. Plants. Ha!